Welcome to another episode of the Jazz and Friends podcast, episode number 63 now. So today's special guest is Doug Buckeridge, who's medaled at national championships, holds PBs of 348 and 816 for the 15 and 3K, and awesome to have you on, mate. How's it going?
Good, thanks, Jerry. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. I'm sure we'll touch on a fair bit of running, but I guess you're done with exams now with year 12, and yeah, talk me
Yep.
through how that went.
Yeah, so overall it was okay. I started off with English. That was fair while. It was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
And I was pretty happy with that one because that's probably like the subject that I'm not like as confident with because I'm more of a maths person. But yeah, I thought that one went pretty well. And then had a like week and a half break, which is not ideal. I feel like it was a bit too long to just be um thinking over it all. But then I had the first special exam, which was okay. A few stupid mistakes, but nothing too bad. And then it was real hectic. Monday to Wednesday earlier this week, I had four. So I had PE on the Monday, which I think that was pretty good. I was happy with my PE. And then special exam two was an absolute shocker. That was probably like one of the worst exams VCA's dished up. Like it was just so hard, and everyone was just struggling big time. So at least everyone was having a bit of a shock, and not just myself. And then chemistry went okay, and then physics similar, not the best, but nothing too bad. So overall, it was a decent exam period, but not perfect. But you can't really expect that with the VCAR exams.
Yeah, that's fair, mate. And I did the PE exam as well the other day, and I felt like they treated us quite well. But I guess
Yeah, I think it was a
what are your
pretty good
thoughts on
exam.
the lacrosse question, mate? You remember that?
Yeah, there are a few weird ones. I thought the lacrosse one wasn't too bad. Like,
Yeah,
what was it on again? You had to like
the
bloody
biomechanical principles.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, about the lever. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think there are a few weird ones in there. Like the 8 marker was a bit strange. Um,
oh yeah.
but yeah, no, overall it's pretty nice exam. I'd say nothing too silly from VCAR on the PE,
No, we
which is
love to
good.
see it, mate. And what about like evaluate your year 12 journey? Obviously, like you went through lockdowns and
Yeah,
whatnot, but like how did you find it all coming back and sitting the exams?
yeah. Well, it was pretty like weird because we had like the normal start to the year, and then because like everyone had assumed like COVID was just like sort of gone away like over summer, and then like the first term was pretty much like normal, and then obviously like we had the bloody repeated lockdowns once again. So like the online learning for year 12, it was like kind of hard to be motivated just in your room because it's a lot better when you're like at class and can actually talk to your mates and the teachers. And then yeah, so we only went back for like so like 1 or 2 weeks before having to like go back into just studying for exams at home. So like it was a bit weird, like not having that continuity, but
Mm.
like in the lead up. But overall, it's the same for everyone, so can't really complain about it. It's not like everyone was having a different situation. Everyone had to deal with the lockdowns and the remote learning and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't ideal, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I guess a good thing with you is obviously you experienced it last year as well, whereas like
Yeah,
those year 12s
yeah,
last year would have struggled a lot
yeah.
more. So no,
Yeah, I
definitely
was
good.
like, last year was the practice run of online learning,
Yeah.
the real year 12.
Oh god. And just quickly with year 12, I presume you guys had like a grad's shirt. What was your nickname, mate?
They're pretty stingy on the.
Yeah.
So I've got the hoodies. They're like, I think a couple years back there must have been some real stupid, stupid nicknames flying around because they like banned it from. You had to like put your proper name.
Oh
So I
my
just put
god.
Doug. Messed it up, but yeah, they were pretty stingy on what you could put on because if you
Oh.
asked for like a stupid one, they just said no.
Oh
Yeah,
damn, yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so mine's next year going to be Jezza, so just keep it straightforward as well. But yeah, a
Yeah,
few
no, that's a good
stingy
one.
names are going to come out for ours, but anyway.
Yeah, your school's not quite as strict on it.
Yeah. Um, So talk me through like social media. Obviously, like I know a fair bit of us are, addicted to Snap, Instagram, and getting
Yeah.
Strava segments. But yourself, you don't use social media at all. Like, what's the reason behind that decision, Doug?
Yeah, when I was like younger, like my parents like pretty anti-technology.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
a lot of kids are like just starting to get on the social media. My parents are like not, not really like they're like I couldn't get a phone until like the start of high school and that because they just I don't know they don't rate the technology much at all. Every time in that way.
That's fair. Yeah.
So like I don't know. So I just went all that time like when everyone else had it without like having it. So I guess I just got used to it. So yeah, I'm only on the Strava and my mates made me get Facebook the other week for like to plan the Falls Creek trip, but
Oh
I
yeah.
don't really use it. The only time I use it is to have a look through the VCA discussion page. It's a few funny memes flying around.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I just got used to not having it, and it's all good. So just never got around to getting on it. Might get too addicted to it if I did. So
yeah.
maybe it's a good thing.
I guess obviously the discussions page, catchphrase is pretty important, but what are the benefits, Doug, to no social media for you?
I suppose you just like you're not gonna like just waste away your days like scrolling through the socials and like I don't know, there can be some pretty like sketchy stuff flying around there. You like you just avoid
Oh,
like some
damn,
potential
yeah.
dramas and that which can pop up on the socials. But yeah,
Yeah, oh mate, no, I can tell you a fair bit of drama does happen. So no, it's good that yeah, you're just chilling without socials. So no, it's
yeah,
good.
exactly.
Yeah. All right, I guess we should move on to the main part, which is running, mate. So you've got a
Yeah,
great running CV so far, and I
yeah,
think we spoke about this a few weeks ago, but you've been running for like what 6 to 7 years, like fully now, and like how has your running
yeah.
evolved over the years, like with Box Hill and Sastro?
Yeah, well, I just started off like doing your classic like district cross countries back in primary school. And
Yeah,
I was playing like in primary school, I was just playing other sports like footy, cricket, basketball, just with mates. And like, just they always encourage you to just do the cross country. And I was like doing all right. In year four, like made it to states, but wasn't like near the front. I was just in the middle of the pack.
mm,
But yeah, so I was like where I first got into like running and then like slowly improved each year. And then a couple of mates who I played cricket with got me down to train with SAS at, well, I think it might have been end of year seven. Yeah, I think end of year seven. So since about like 13, I've been
yeah,
training with them, which has been good. And then, yeah, so like I was a bit of a novice at the first year with them because all those boys have been training
yeah,
properly for a few years, and I've just been going on like the occasional run and playing footy and cricket and just relying on that fitness. Yeah, so when I actually started to do structured training with a coach and squad, that's when like the real improvement started to happen, and that's where I went from being oh, like in the middle or back of state races to pushing up to near the front. So yeah, it's a pretty quick transformation. It shows what the proper training can do.
yeah. That is awesome, mate. And what about like, what's your favorite like running memory? Because obviously, SAS track there's people like Bibbs, Thomas Diamond, all these blokes, So yeah,
Oh,
lots of fun.
yeah, well, it's a tough one. Like, there's been a lot of good like memories. Just all like the banter with the squad's always good, and like some of the Christmas parties have been some funny moments. But in terms of like, I guess like an actual
Awesome, man.
performance would probably be 2019 nationals. Like, I went in not expecting to like win, that's for sure, and I ended up getting the win. I was
Yeah.
hoping for maybe an outside chance at a medal, but just all came together on the day. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is amazing. Like winning nationals is the ultimate goal, Doug, and you achieved
yeah,
it. So I guess would have been
yeah,
a like massive celebration that night.
yeah. Yeah, when I crossed the line, I went a bit ballistic on the celebration, and the boys still give me grief to this
Oh,
day about that one.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't like to forget about the celebration.
Oh, yeah. And do you remember your first like running medal? It would have been ages ago, but
Uh,
just couldn't remember.
yeah, well, there would have been like your classic. regional cross country,
Yeah.
probably in year 5, maybe. I think I might have come third in year 5. But the first state medal would have been, oh, geez, I think all schools 2018, 1500 maybe.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that
you've
was
come a
probably
long
the
way.
first real breakthrough medal because like the regional cross country, I mean they're nice, but they're not quite as the same level as a state medal. When you're just
Oh.
versing like blokes who in primary school in your local area.
Yeah, I think for me, my goal is to win SSVs because the public
Yeah,
school boys aren't as
yeah,
competitive. So yeah.
exactly. You could just run a knuckle against the SSB boy in high school.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, because this year I've
Yeah,
been
for sure.
gunning for like a chance, but obviously it got canned
Yeah,
during the year. But next year's a goal, finish year 12 off with a few SSV
yeah,
medals.
exactly. Yeah, well, you
Oh,
might have to. I wonder if Bibba, he might be.
oh,
Oh no,
I think
he'd be
he's
the
younger
age
than me
below.
though,
Yeah,
so
yeah, he'd
yeah,
still be the age below. Yeah,
yeah,
so
we'll
you
see
wouldn't
how
have
it
to
goes.
contend with him.
Oh, anyway, so speaking of running, I'm a shoe dog. I'm not sure if you are, Doug, but you've got a big shoe
Oh yeah,
collection.
don't mind
So,
actually.
what's your shoe rotation?
For the dogs, I just usually go for the Peg 38s. They get the job done.
Classic, yeah.
Yep, can't go wrong with the Peg. Um, I was a fan of the turbos for like long runs and that, but they've just like stopped making them, so you can't
Oh,
really
the dog
buy them
get yeah.
anywhere now. It's a bit of a stitch up. No, they've been removed. For sessions, I've got a bit of a mix. If it's on like a grassy surface, could go the Streak 7.
Oh, right,
They're
old
pretty
school.
good. The Saucony Endorphin Speed's always a good tempo shoe, and the Endorphin Pro I like for like the faster intervals. And then
Oh
obviously on the track, you can't go wrong with the Dragonfly.
yeah.
I feel like you just got to
Yeah,
get them
cheat code.
to get
Yeah.
the extra boost.
Oh,
But yeah, they're definitely the breakthrough spike compared to the old victories with like 1 millimeter of padding, or not even padding. You got like a bloody rock hard plate, and then the
oh
Dragonflies
gosh.
have like a trampoline.
Yeah. I guess yeah. I was running with dragonflies yesterday, or racing in them, and literally I felt
Yeah,
like I was flying off the
yeah,
bends. So
nice. Definitely nice. And
yeah.
the beauty is you don't usually like when you were wearing those old victories, like they're like good for like the faster stuff because they're like so aggressive, but your calves feel so shocking for like 3Ks the next day. But with the
Mm.
dragonfly, you've got so much padding, you can just pull up so much better
Yeah,
after a
100%.
race. It's good.
Because I feel like pretty much recovered after yesterday's 800, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, you're not
5
going to
years
be
ago that
walking
wouldn't have
around
happened.
with old man calves for a few days.
More to a serious note, I guess. Like, what about recovery methods and strength food? Like, how do you go about it? Maybe starting off with your strength type work.
Yeah, well, I've got like a home gym set up, which has been very handy over the lockdown, obviously, with the gyms being shut and all that. So I usually do nothing too crazy. Like the weights I use are pretty like minimal, but just 2 to 3 times a week, just some maintenance, just your like upper body, get your chin ups in and push ups, and then the lower body, just a bit of like the squats, calf raises, all that
Yeah,
sort of simple stuff, which has been good. And then usually a few core sessions as well during the week, just to make sure the core is nice and stable and help prevent any niggles and all that. And I do enjoy some of the band work as well for like the hips.
oh,
And
resistance bands. Yeah,
yeah, I mean it's a bit annoying, but it does help. I reckon having like the resistant band work on the hips and glutes. It's always good.
yeah, 100%. And what about like food wise? I remember talking to Isaac, and he's like, Macca's is all right sometimes. So, what's your go to like after a workout?
Um, usually, or straight post workout, I always just have an up and go and a muesli bar and an electrolyte drink. Like that's the quick refuel. And then I'm not really too fussed like the main meal after. I'll just eat whatever. Sometimes some porridge or just like bacon and eggs on toast. but I'm not too stingent about what I eat. I feel like it's not a great idea to be monitoring your diet super closely at this age. Just eat whatever you want. I reckon. You can just burn all the calories in the next run.
Yeah, exactly what
Yeah,
Doug said.
I've had some dodgy moments post race. Some 24 nug packs, just gone down well.
Oh yeah. Zinger boxes as well. So yeah, that was a good after big races. But yeah,
Yeah,
interesting. What about like recovery? Do you do like foam rolling, that type of stuff to prevent DOMs and all that? Mass
yeah.
recovery.
Foam rolling. I've been slacking a bit, like through the exams. I just like couldn't really be bothered doing any of that. But I'm meant to do like some foam rolling for like the hip and ITB band because I had a bit of a knee niggle a few months back. But yeah, usually try and do a bit of foam rolling before bed, a few quick stretches. But I've been kind of slacking off on that, so I
That's fair. Yeah.
might have to get back into the stretching and foam rolling for sure. And if it's like a hot day, don't mind a cold bath, but I haven't had one of them in bloody ages because it's been
Oh,
bloody freezing
yeah, it's been
lately.
cold as yeah.
Yeah,
Oh god. Yeah,
exactly.
we're obviously in November and we're still wearing hoodies, so yeah, that just shows the
Yeah,
weather right
it's
now.
an
Yeah,
absolute
it's pretty
windy
shocking.
day outside, that's for sure. Windy and cold. Yesterday was bloody
Oh,
so rainy,
shit day to race.
freezing cold. Yeah, at Trinity Park, the path was
Oh.
absolutely flooded, and and we had to do some reps on the oval, and I was like slipping all over the shop. It was an
Oh.
absolute slide on the oval.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Yeah,
Yeah,
some really good tips, obviously, and hopefully some listeners and runners take a few things from this because yeah, some amazing tips with like recovery as well. So I guess another thing with running quickly is you have your favorites in your dreaded workout. So what are your favorite
yeah.
and like most dreaded workout?
Well, I feel like if I'm like trying to peak up for a race, we do a good one where it's like 600, 300, 500, 200, 400 off like a few minutes between each, and that's like pretty fast. It's like that's close to it's like 800 to 1500 pace.
Ooh,
So that's always a good one to get the legs. It's very lactic, but it's a good tune second for sure. And especially in summer when you've got like the warm track, it's
oh
definitely a
yeah,
fun one with all the boys. Just getting the
the
spikes
banter
on.
going.
A classic one as well, Prinny Park. You can't go wrong with 1K reps there. It's always
Oh
good
yeah.
fun. It's just a classic session, which is always a good one to good confidence booster, I reckon, if you can knock out some good 1K reps. And then a dreaded session. Oh, geez. Well, at the moment, I'm kind of not a fan of the lactic work just because my speed's a bit
Yeah.
scratchy at the moment. But what's another one I don't rate? We do some sessions on Tuesdays on like these real sketchy like cross country style
Oh,
loops.
down Fairfield,
In
yeah.
Yarra Bend. Yeah, they're not great. So I wouldn't I'm not the biggest fan of that because you're just worried about like falling on like a route or like rolling your ankle.
Oh no.
It's yeah, it's a bit sketchy on some of those ones. They're good strength builders, but yeah, they're not the most enjoyable sessions on some of those cross country loops.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Like the zigzag loops are, it feels like you're running around a maze or something, Doug. Like
Yeah,
your Strava
exactly.
segments, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few. We do the figure eight loop, which is
Yeah.
on like a couple ovals, and there's like a 180 turn with like around a tree with so many roots, and there's like potholes, and then there's a few like narrow gaps you have to squeeze through. So it's a bit of a hectic loop.
I imagine, yeah, you get into some like interesting paths, but obviously, as long as it builds the strength and it gets you ready for races, that's the main goal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they would help for sure, but yeah, it's just not as fun as rolling around Prinny Park or just rolling around the track when there's no real obstacles besides although at Prinny Park you do get the dog walkers out in
Oh,
force
there's plenty of them, mate.
and the
100%.
Karens as well. That can be a bit of a problem.
And what about like obviously I met you at like Melbourne Uni the other week, but you were
Yeah,
pacing like some draft combine uh kids.
yeah,
So like what was
that
that like?
was
Because
good.
obviously their draft combines, kind of a lot different to usual years.
Yeah, well, they've been stitched up big time, having the
Yeah, I
all
saw
like
that.
the normal testing things, like the skills and all like the vertical jump and sprint tests and all that. They just got cancelled, so they had to do their 2K just via Strava, like upload the 2K run and show the people. So yeah, there were a couple of mates I played juniors with at Fitzroy for about 5, 6 years. Obviously, I stopped playing footy a few years back, and they kept on pushing on because they were absolute jet players. So yeah, they just asked me to help out, and that was good. And I think they were two of the faster times. So
Oh,
hopefully, it's helped their draft stock a bit. I know one of them's going to be probably top 10 pick. So
oh, can you shout him out?
yeah, Josh Ward, he'll be an
Josh
absolute
Ward.
jet. And then the other one, Ned Long, he was on track to be a top 20 pick, and then he got bloody unlucky, got injured after only a few games. So he missed like 5, 6 games, and then when he came back, the season was like shut down. So wherever he's picked up, the team will be getting him at an absolute bargain. So there'll be future Jets in the AFL for
Yeah,
sure.
awesome. Hopefully we can get him on the potty maybe when they get drafted. So,
Yeah, and they've got the Brownlow medal around the neck in a few years' time.
and with footy as well, like you do umpiring similar to me, obviously boundary, and I'm a field
Yeah.
umpire. But what's that like? You obviously run a fair bit and cop less shit than us fieldies do.
Yeah, so I do it with the VAFA in the Prem A's. So it's pretty like serious. Like the coach, the umpiring coach, we have to like follow like the exact running patterns and like
Oh
positioning
wow.
and all like this signaling has to be like on point. So like you can't be like off your game or else you just get demoted to a lower grade. But yeah, it is a lot of running. Like I think usually it's like 15, 16K because it's a full length game, like 2 hours. And the Prem A boys, like they're playing pretty good footy. They can move the ball pretty quick on the good day. And yeah, I haven't copped too much shit. There's been like a couple times where there's like a 50-50. They're
Mm.
like, oh, they're holding it. Is it out of bounds? Is it not? And the crowd can get a bit feral. Or if you have a shocking throw in, the crowd lets you know about it. If the ball drops short, they're not too happy. But yeah, in general, like just because like obviously I'm hearing what the crowd's saying to the fieldies, they can get absolutely ripped into. The crowd's not happy.
Oh,
They
definitely.
because a lot of the time, like they know the fieldies as well because they've umpired like the teams that many over the years, so they just like absolutely rip into them. Yeah, it can get a bit too aggressive, I reckon. But I guess that's just what you sign up for as an umpire. But yeah, the
Yeah,
boundaries
100%.
definitely you can pretty much just chill, avoid the crowd as long as you don't do any like real stupid out of bounds calls.
Yeah, I might do boundary next year. Actually, seems a better alternative.
Yeah, I think you get paid like a bit less though, which
Bit
isn't
less. Yeah.
which is a bit of a stitch up, but it's more running and less like decision making
Mm.
and less abuse from the crowd. So you got your
That's the
pros and
benefits.
cons. Yeah.
Oh, and what about like? Have you experienced any like major fights or anything, or have you seen any of those during
Oh,
the game?
there hasn't been like any real like full on brawls like where
Yeah.
someone's been like knocked out or something crazy, but there has been a few scuffles for sure where like the there was an aggressive bump earlier this season where like the bloke was like trying to pick the ball up and then the opposition players just like bulldozed it. And so that one sparked a bit of a brawl. They weren't too thrilled. The bloke just got decked, but
Oh
it
no.
was a pretty good bump to be fair. Like he
Yeah.
did hit him hard, but it seemed a good bump. But yeah, they weren't too happy about that. But yeah, there's been no like real full punch ons, which is a bit of a shame. That'd be good fun to see. That's probably more in like the lower, in like the
Lower
resis or
divisions, like
like the lower
different or
grades
something.
when
Yeah.
you've got like all the more like old angry blokes who are just gonna have a go at each other.
Oh,
The A grade, they're more focused on like the actual
results.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, mate. And what about like other sports? Do you follow like the basketball, soccer, or who do you go for in AFL?
Yeah. Oh yeah, AFL go for the Cats. So
Oh, cats.
it's like it's obviously we've had success. Like we always make the finals, but then just every year, like since 2011, we just always like collapse in like the preliminary final or something, like 5 times. Like this year was an absolute shocker versus Melbourne in the
Oh my
prelim.
days.
Got me done by like 80 points. That was like the worst one yet, but I'm a bit worried that our time might have come. We're getting a bit old. Maybe
Oh,
I'll finally be used to my team not making the final.
well, I'll go for North Melbourne, so
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, well, you had a few good years there, like
Yeah,
2014.
14. We beat
I
Geelong.
remember you knocked us off one year in the semi. I went to a semi one year. I think it was
I was there that day
2014.
as well.
We went out straight set. We lost by like a kick. We were down big time,
And then you came
and then we
back.
stormed back in the second half. Then just fell short. So yeah, then I think like went either played the Swans or the Eagles the next week. But yeah, since probably 4 years ago, the Roos have been on a bit of a downward
Yeah.
spiral.
Oh,
hopefully, Jason Horn Francis can help out.
yeah, for sure. It's guaranteed, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he'll be a gun. But yeah, other sports, I do get around the NBA quite a lot, which is good.
I love that.
Um, so
You go
far this
for?
season, well, I go for Indiana. So like they're always middling. Like
Yeah.
they always come like seventh, and then when we had Paul George, like we were pretty good against like LeBron's Heat though, so it's a bit of a stitch up.
Yeah, that wasn't a fair matchup.
But yeah, so yeah, it's still early days this season. The Warriors are looking pretty good, which is a
Steph Curry,
bit of a
possibly.
surprise. Um, the Nets will be pretty hard to beat, especially if Kyrie gets the vaccine, which he probably won't.
Paddy Mills off
uh,
the bench.
oh yeah, he's had a few good games as well. Yeah, the Lakers are in a bit of a struggle. I reckon Westbrook's not really
Oh,
fitting
they're
in
too
too
old,
well.
mate.
Yeah, they're like the cats of the AFL.
Yeah.
They're the
Oh,
retirement home. Geelong's list is absolute
yeah. Oh, it's
ancient.
not good.
Yeah, and we just pick up old players every year. Oh, the cricket, don't mind watching that. I used to be a bit more
Ashes,
of a
yeah.
cricket fan, but when I used to play, I like got around that a bit more, but still good to watch it
Watch
over
it a fair
summer.
bit, yeah.
Uh,
Do you watch the Prem, like soccer, or not too much?
Not really a soccer fan. Like
Yeah.
I'll like scroll through the results from time to time, but no, not really into the soccer. I must say, never been a
For sure,
fan of the soccer. Never played it. Never really got around it.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with soccer, you're either like a real fan of it or you just like have none of it.
It's
You
hit or
either
miss,
follow it
man.
well
Yeah,
or like you just couldn't care at all.
100%. Yeah, and I was going to touch on the Olympics. Obviously, like Peter Bowl had like an amazing run, and Lyndon Hall, and your very own like Georgia Griffith, she did pretty well. But like, what was your favorite like highlight out of the Olympics in terms of like for running?
Probably, I reckon, yeah, probably Pete Bowl because seen them at Prinny a few times because my
Mm.
coach is good friends with Justin Rinaldi, who coaches Pete. And yeah, we've even it was a good couple months before the Olympics. We hopped in for a mile rep with them because they were doing like a
Oh,
two
so
mile tempo, and we paced them through the first mile. So that was pretty cool. Just having Pete Bowl sitting on your shoulder. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Like how he like won the semi, and then like was winning into like the last 100 meters
yeah,
in the final. Like it's a bit of a shame he like tied up, but he gave it a crack. So it's pretty cool to see like an Aussie really taking it to the big dogs,
to Jakob.
which is yeah.
Oh no, not
If
Jakob.
he had a come home with a medal, that would have been absolutely insane. But fourth place in the Olympics is still
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
No, it's definitely amazing. Obviously, Pete's still got a fair way to go, and I'm sure he'll medal at
Yeah, he's
Paris for sure.
improving each year. So you
Mm.
never know. Maybe next year at World Champs, he'll bring home a medal.
Yeah, that's what we all want to see. And what about like music now? So, what do you listen to that pumps you up before like pre race? Any songs? You just
I
enjoy
don't mind like some of the M&Ms. They're pretty
lose
good.
yourself.
Yeah, like Not
Yeah,
Afraid's pretty good. Um, can't go wrong with like Remember the Name, Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Yeah,
Um, yeah, they're all pretty good. I don't really like have like a real set selection. I just get the Spotify. I've got like just a random like playlist of songs that I just whatever comes on, I'll just
Yeah.
I'll just I'll just accept that one. Unless it's a real shocker, I'll skip it. But for the most part, anything can really do the job, which
No,
is good.
100%. Like Hall of Fame's a major one for me, so
Yeah,
pretty similar.
exactly. No, it's a good pump up song.
Yeah. And now is the main bit, Doug. Obviously, you're prepared for this, the money segment. So, any funny stories from your schooling days, your running life you want to share?
All right, I'll give one from running and one from school.
Oh,
So
let's get it.
a funny one from running last year at Falls, New Year's. A few of the boys got a bit too carried away,
Yeah.
and everyone was just absolutely doing full-on hill sprint reps up the
Oh,
road.
mate, that's all good.
Everyone in like jeans and like casual shoes on New Year's. Everyone was just racing up the hill, and like after 100 meters, everyone was absolutely cooked, just hands on knees. So that was pretty funny. And a
Get
few
the Air
boys chucked
Forces
it on
going, doing
Strava.
hill reps.
Cheeky 100 meters. Yeah, midnight hill refs. And then, a couple funny ones at school. There was one in like year 8 that I remember. Everyone was like pissing themselves. We're on the basketball court, and like
Yeah.
there's a little like fencing around it. So my mate is like chasing after the ball, and it's like approaching the fence. And rather than like stopping, he just absolutely runs into the fence. He has no clue what he's doing. And then he just dramatically lies on the ground for like 10 minutes. And everyone's just pissing themselves. But he's
Oh.
instead of like stopping or like jumping over the little fence, he just runs straight into it. It's an absolute shocker. Yeah, that
Oh.
was a pretty funny one. He just like had no clue. And like he just dramatically like lay on the ground, soaking up the absolute laughter of everyone else. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Damn. I'd imagine it was like less than 1 meter fence or quite small.
Yeah, no, it wasn't tall at all. It was just like
Yeah.
one of those little mini gate fences.
Like prep fences. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh god.
he just didn't stop in front of it, just ran straight into it.
No, some actual good funny stories, Doug. Awesome to share, mate. Because some people have had like dead funny stories. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good they weren't shocked.
Oh, I'd love to go to Falls Creek, mate. Obviously, yeah, just
Yeah, well,
the
we're going
scenery.
again, 27th to 9th, 27th December, 9th Jan. So yeah, hopefully a good crew gets down.
Yeah,
Usually there's a lot of people there, so hopefully with all like the lockdowns lifting, everyone gets keen, gets down there. But yeah, it's
yeah,
good scenery. The trails are a bit sketchy.
dodgy.
They're a bit uneven, a bit narrow, but
Yeah,
it's a good vibe. A lot of runners there, so it's a good chance to just train for a bit.
yeah, I might catch you
Train
down
with
there,
some
mate.
new people as well.
I wouldn't trust anyone with a bike though, because if I was like, I don't know, pacing, I'd like fall off the cliffs. Because yeah, turning is
Yeah,
pretty hard, I reckon.
there's sometimes the odd person on the bike, but yeah, it's not
Not
an ideal
ideal.
spot
Yeah.
to have a bike pacer because the surface is just so uneven.
Oh god, yeah. Couldn't imagine that,
Yeah,
mate.
you wouldn't want to like stack it in front of all the runners and then like cause a domino effect.
Oh yeah. Have you been mountain biking and like a whole stack's gone
No,
off in camp or something? Oh
I haven't done mountain biking. A few
yeah.
of my mates do it, but no, I haven't.
Yeah, I've stacked it before with a few people, so yeah, it's not
Yeah,
pleasant.
I've seen some big falls.
Yeah. Oh. I guess we'll move on to a more serious note. So this one always stumps a few people. Hopefully you don't get stumped, mate. But
Oh, there you go.
I guess what's the best piece of advice someone has ever given you, Doug? Could be anything.
Jeez,
He's stumped.
absolutely.
Oh.
I reckon like sometimes you can like sort of if you like do something like not as well as you want, you can kind of like just sort of like beat yourself up for a long time,
Mm.
and like rather than like moving on, you just like I do this as well. Like after a bad race, like a bad exam, I like just think about all the mistakes and all that. So yeah, I think my dad gave me some pretty good advice. Just like even if you haven't done as well as you want, you just got to like learn from it and move forward because it's done. You can't change it. You can't go back in
Yeah,
time.
true.
And if you're just like sitting there upset about it, it's just going to make it worse rather than moving on to your next chance to do better. So yeah, that's a good one. Don't sort of stress over your mistakes. Just learn from them and try and forget about it.
Awesome, we love that, mate. Obviously during the PE exam, I think I made a few dumb mistakes. There was this one with the
Yeah,
inverted U thing. I put the crosses like
right.
outside of the U, so it was
Yeah,
pretty embarrassing.
that
But
was a
yeah, we
weird one.
moved from that.
Yeah, after spec and physics, yeah, I was a bit upset by a couple of them, but a couple of
Yeah, we
days
moved,
later,
mate.
you just move on.
No, that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, um, this one's a bit of a fun one now. I can see a few books behind you, but what's like a book or movie you kind of recommend to the listeners, or one for each, maybe?
Oh, a book. I haven't read much lately, but for the runners, I do like the Running with the Buffaloes. That was a good book on
Oh yeah,
the
might give that a go.
Colorado team. I think of the late '90s or something. So that was an interesting read. But yeah, back in the day, I read a lot in primary school, and then as soon as I
Oh,
got to high school, I literally just stopped reading. So
okay.
I haven't read a proper like outside of like the books you study for English. I like, wouldn't have read like a book in like that long. So yeah, I'd go with Running with the Buffaloes is a good running book if you're interested in that.
Yeah,
And movies. Oh geez,
testing you.
movie. I don't know a specific movie
TV
recommendation.
shows, maybe.
I'll just say for movies, I always got around the Marvel movies that. So if you haven't, I'm assuming most people would have watched them,
Yeah,
but if you haven't, get around that. It's probably one of the better franchises out there.
yeah, better than DC, everyone. So yeah, go give him a go. So this one's quick hands now. So obviously you played a bit of footy. Quick hands is quick hands.
Oh, yep.
Pretty straightforward.
That's my brain power.
Pineapple and pizza, yes or no?
Yep.
English or maths?
Maths.
Yeah, is that even a question? uh, favorite subject?
Maths.
Maths. Stick to
Although
yourself,
maybe not
mate.
after the exams.
Yeah.
The exams betrayed me, but I'll still say maths is my favourite subject.
You should have said PE, mate. um, favorite place to visit in Melbourne?
Oh jeez. Uh,
Yarrabin.
MCG. I don't know
MCG,
MCG.
yeah. Oh, and lastly, morning or night person?
Morning.
Morning. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good. I see a few morning
I
runs, so
prefer the AM run.
no,
Get,
that's fair.
get stuff done in the morning.
Yeah. No, you're quite the opposite compared to. I had Benny Ludbrook on, and he was talking about afternoon
Oh,
runs.
no, if you don't have school, like I'm
Yeah,
not going to wake up at like 6 a.m., but if you don't have school, just run in the morning. So yeah, I'll be running in the morning as much as I can.
awesome.
Now that school's done.
Well, like, what's next for you, mate? Like, what are your like top three goals for 2022 and beyond? Like, obviously, career plans and running.
Yeah, well, ideally, I'll get into the Bachelor of Science course at Melbourne Uni. So that needs an 85 ATAR. So I think I should have done enough
Oh,
for that,
you got
but
this, dog. Yeah.
you're in the hands of VCAT to an extent. So you just got to hope they don't screw you over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so that would be a good one just to get into that. And then career wise, either thinking like engineering or like a data science, but more like goals that are in the nearer future for running. Probably this season, hope for like a 3:45 and maybe an 8:10 by the end of the season would be good to get some good PBs. And then if if I was to run quick, I'd be keen, if possible, to like going over to America for college in a couple of years would be pretty sick. So
Yeah.
like Stanford or something, that'd be probably like the ideal location. Got the good academics and the beast running. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that'd be that'd be good. I can get into the Bachelor of Science, get some good PBs, and maybe college in a couple of years would be pretty cool.
Oh, that's some awesome goals, Doug. Hopefully, I can catch you at Melbourne Uni. Probably definitely bump into you,
Yeah,
mate.
exactly. Yeah. Well,
Nice one, fella.
hopefully in March, I'm at Melbourne Uni and not some other university.
That's the goal, mate. That's the goal. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Doug, it's been like a great chat, about like all things running,
Yeah.
VCAR examiners and yeah, that was, one of the most dreaded bits. But yeah, credit to Isaac for, getting you on the pod and massive track season ahead. Like it's
Yeah.
summer finally, and
Hopefully have a good one.
hopefully some big
Hopefully you
PBs
can have a
ahead
good
in
season as
national
well.
champs. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be good. A few PBs, that'd be very nice, but we'll see what happens. Got to stay healthy.
yeah, for sure.
Yep, should be good.
Awesome, Doug. Well, I'll catch you at Vic Milers 1. I'm going to try and run the
Yep.
3K sub
Yeah,
11.
nice,
Not as quick
nice.
as you, but we'll see how we go.
Right. It's all relative to the individual. So
Yeah.
if you can have your own best performance, that's all that matters, mate.
Awesome, mate. We'll catch you in a few weeks' time. Take care.
Thanks for having me, Jarek.
No
Cheers.